Hi, my name is Mónica Félix. Well, I became an educator in a museum because I've always been very interested in museums, but I always thought that it was better to be in the arts side, but then I discovered that science is also very fun, and that's why I became more specialized in that matter, and I decided to study education. My master, I actually did my master in education after I became part of the La Rodadora, and I love my job. It's just one of the best things that ever happened to me, and I think it's something that not a lot of people understand. A museum is actually a source of education, and that's very important for me. I discovered that a lot of people doesn't understand how a museum can change a community, and it actually can change it a lot because it brings more information. It reaches out to communities that will never get into a museum. We see these museums as something not reachable for a lot of people, but when you reach out for them, not the other way, but you as a museum go out for them and show them all the things that can be learned and all the things that are really fun without being very boring, then that's the main purpose of a museum, and that's why I got very interested in this field. Okay, well, one of the things that we're doing right now, and that's the reason why we came to Washington right now, it's our night eating monster. And that particular piece is actually one of the crafts that is more important in Mexico, that is called alebrije. And the educational department is in charge of getting all the results, all the information that the people brings to the eating monster. What we do with that information is that once we learn what is really happening in our community, we design programs based on those results. Programs could not be made just because we want to. They're actually based in the community, in their needs, in what they want to do. Even if that's the superheroes they want to see, then we'll do something about the superheroes and how you can learn something about them. But that's what the Department of Education actually do. And that's how we try to promote new values, new knowledge into our community. And if it changes lives, I think it's much better, and it gives you more satisfactions than anything else in the world. We want the Latino artists to promote our culture so people can understand that Mexico, it's a very safe, beautiful, creative country. That's why we bring a lot of the artists to Juarez. We bring them through the border. We want to make an interchange between Texas and Chihuahua, and we want them to promote the culture in both sides of the border. I think that obviously Latinos are more known in the border than in the rest of the country because, well, we're every day crossing the border, but we want the public to understand that Latino culture is also part of our history, and that's why we want to promote their works. We want to promote their art. For a lot of them, it's a new public. When they go to Mexico, they see that it's a very different public than in the U.S. So we want them to understand also the needs from the other side, because sometimes when you have so many years over here in the United States, you tend to forget what is going on the other side of the Rio Grande. So we actually want to promote that culture inside our community. That's part of our job. We want them to work with us. And also we want the people from Mexico to understand that the Latino culture has a lot of rich things to offer, artistically, culturally, scientifically also. We have a lot of scientists over here. So it's very important to understand that they have reached something that a lot of people thought will never be reached. We have a lot of astronauts, Mexican astronauts, in the United States, and we want children to see that as an example. And that's is one of the main goals of the museums. And I think one of the biggest challenges for us to bring them back to Mexico and to show what Mexican people do in other countries and how they can put the name of Mexico back again in the top one.